I'm starting to realize how absolutely stupid it is to have my camera, the thing that makes me my living, sitting above a thing of water.
Yeah, that's pretty stupid.
What could possibly go right? When it comes to painting blasters, I am horribly inadequate. I have to try so hard and do so much effort for even basic little things, and with how much I struggled with Lantern's Light, the blast blaster that I did a complete paint job customization on, I am just tired of doing really intricate paint jobs, and I still will have to do them to some respect, but in order to buy myself some time and maybe freshen things up a bit, I thought I would try to take my hand into doing hydrographics, hydro dipping, that kind of stuff, where you take a piece of film, you put it on water, you spray down an activator on it, which basically melts the film, and then you dip a part into it and transfer those graphics to the part. And that's what we're gonna be doing today because I picked up all the stuff for it. I have never done this before. I saw some videos on it, including Drax. I didn't really watch the entire thing. I probably should have, but I thumbed my way through it, and lots of people have been doing it. In fact, the first hydro-dipped blaster I ever saw was from Foam Data Services, and he does probably some of the best work in the hobby, so maybe I should have asked him. And I do have all the stuff for it now, and I'm not gonna do like any kind of crazy instructional thing. I'm just gonna go through what I'm doing step by step, and we'll see how it turns out, and you can be the judge. So, first of all, you need some kind of hydro film. Boom! I actually picked up the cheapest bundle I could find on Amazon of random hydro film. I didn't really care what I got because obviously if I'm gonna do something important, I would get whatever film I could possibly want or a custom film. I just wanted stuff to practice with and I wanted to find the best bang for my buck in that department. And I haven't unwrapped these or anything, but what we have here is a fully colored galaxy nebula kind of effect, which should be interesting. We've got a very bright, random fall pattern camo, which I don't know how I feel about that. That's kind of silly to me, but I'm sure some people appreciate that. We have a smoke effect here on black, which is really freaking cool looking. We've got a transparent white, I would assume this is a carbon fiber kind of print. Usually this comes in like a black. This is like a white silverish kind of thing. So probably best to put this on black paint. This one shows the most light through it over any other film I got. And then what looks to be like a blood splatter fire effect. I don't know. This one could also be a nebula effect. It's kind of hard to tell. Looks really interesting. This one is the darkest of all of them so far. So with all of these, whatever you put behind is going to show through. It's not completely going to block out all of your light and paint and everything like that. And you do have to do some prep work. So we're going to put these away. And I figured what I would do is I would pick up some vinyl dye here because this is a white paint that dries really quickly and works pretty good as a primer actually. But I also picked up some primer. This is in a darker gray. This may work well as, but I kind of just want to do the vinyl dye and see what happens with that. And I've got a red one too here that we can play around with sometime in the future. I don't know how much hydro dipping I'm going to do today. I don't plan on doing a whole lot, but let's see what happens. And the main part I want to hydro dip is this grip. I would have liked to paint this pink because I think it could be pink, but there's a bit of white on here as well, and I could make this white, and I could also make it white and then put some kind of graphic on it to make it really pop. So I think that's what I'm going to do, and these are perfect little test pieces. They won't take me very long to prep, and they'll be relatively easy to dip. So we're gonna unscrew these, we're gonna file off this AccuStrike logo and sand everything down, and then we're going to try to hydro dip these. The other thing I'm going to need, I already have, I believe, is some Scotch tape, and this is to adhere the film and kind of make sure it stays in place on the water. And I lied, because you're gonna need one other thing, and that is a hydrographics activator, or hydrographics, because it's graphics that go in water. Whatever one I found on Amazon, hopefully this works. The ground ones, hopefully it didn't break the nozzle or anything like that. But it wasn't very expensive. I was expecting this to be a really expensive endeavor, and it really wasn't. I think this can was like maybe $16. The film was like $22, and that was a lot of film for really cheap. If you want to get like a meter of like a really high graphic kind of thing, it's like, you know, anywhere from like 16 to 30 bucks a meter, so. And hopefully this lasts me a while. We'll find out. You don't need to use a whole lot of it, so. Well, we are going to first unscrew the grips off of this. Here are these. All right, so first step is I want to take off this AccuStrike logo because I don't really feel like that fits anymore. And I'm just gonna take this big old file right here and I'm gonna gently try to sand that down. And no more AccuStrike logo. Perfect, and now we're just gonna sand the rest of it down to make sure we get rid of any surface release agent or anything they put on this stuff to make sure everything sticks to it perfectly. Now that we've got everything sanded, it's gonna be full of dust everywhere. We don't want that, so the easiest way to clean that I've seen is to use some isopropyl alcohol, put a little bit on a paper towel, and then we are going to wipe down the entire part. And not only will this dry completely and quickly, but it will make it very easy to get rid of all of the Cheeto dust off of our new blaster. And there we go. These two pieces are properly sanded, and now we are going to go over them with a primer, and I am going to use this Duplicolor Filler Primer. All right, gonna start with a fairly light coat, let that dry, then go over it with a heavier coat. And I think we're just about perfect. All right, be back in a couple of minutes.
2 hours later.
So, I'm gonna finally undo one of these ones, and I think the one I'm gonna try first is gonna be the kind of galaxy-like print. I'm going to tape it to these edges and have it on here. I'm gonna spray it with the film, and I'm going to dump one of these things in, and hopefully some magic happens. Let's put all this back in the tube before I do something stupid like accidentally get activator on all of it and just glue it together. And this looks to be about... Oh, no. Get off the top. That might have an adverse effect. Oh, it is actually kind of getting... Oh, God. No. Oh, no. Everything is going wrong! Well, I'm gonna say this one's useless now. So it actually does dissolve in the water, which I wasn't really expecting for some reason. I thought it would be the same kind of tacky film. I got just a droplet of water on it and it bubbled up. Interesting. The film is actually too big this time. I effed up again in a new and interesting way. Alright. Respirator. I mean, if this stuff's supposed to melt the film even more, I hate to figure out what it would do to my lungs. So, this stuff does sort of come off my hand. Overall, as a first attempt, I have failed, but the actual result is not as bad as I thought it would be. This indent right here may be pretty much impossible. The film was quite a bit thicker than I was expecting it to be. It didn't really dissolve much. I'm going to attempt it again. I don't know if I didn't use enough activator, didn't give it a long enough time to melt. I gave it a little bit, but let's give it one more shot and we'll let this dry. And I'll most likely have to sand this down and retry, but we still have one other piece here we can attempt with. Alright, I have a decent idea. I just watched another video online, this one from Jimmy2Tech, and I'm gonna let it sit a little bit longer, and I'm also going to use a little bit more of the film activator and see what freaking happens, because I kind of want to come out of this with some sort of success. Let it sit.
Keep it steady. Where's the money, Lebowski?
We're still failing, but we're still getting somewhere as well. That was definitely a better second attempt. I'm gonna go rinse this off, we'll see what happens. So here's the first piece. I didn't rinse it or anything, which is apparently what you're supposed to do. And I did notice a difference, because if I touch this, it's still tacky, sticky, and disgusting. And I obviously just left a mark in it. This is the piece I rinsed, and it seems, well, obviously it's a lot duller. That's not a big issue. And it seems to do a lot better. There's still some issues that I'm having, and I'm going to chalk that up to a couple of things, mostly my inexperience, but I'm going to say the cheap film and the overall complexity of the shape probably isn't doing me a lot of help either. It looks really good in many areas, and then others you can see where it came off while I was rinsing it, and there's still some folds in it, but it's completely good to the touch. It's actually really durable in many places, so I'm kind of guessing right here it just didn't stick very well as opposed to peeling off, because the rest of it seems completely fine. Can I scratch it? I can scratch it if I try hard enough, but obviously put a clear coat over that. All in all, not a success like I would like the video to have been, but definitely a learning exercise. This is by no means a how-to, but I can feel myself, with a little bit more practice, getting much better at it, and maybe a less complex shape to try to dip. I obviously didn't use a big enough piece of film, but I did everything else good enough that I can get some kind of result. But with a lot more practice, I'm going to get a lot better at this. So let me know what you think. I'm sure down in the comment section you're going to have some tips for me, because everybody on the internet is an expert. But that being said, I'm Walcom S7. Thank you very much for watching this video, and of course, I hope to see you in an entirely different one.
You